Hey everyone, Americans are speaking out about their future, and their opinions might surprise you. Are they hopeful, or do they see trouble ahead? And then there's Canada's boycott of U.S. goods and tourism after Trump's 51st state comment. The internet exploded with reactions. We gathered real opinions from Reddit. Let's see what Americans really think. Stay tuned. Americans, what is your opinion on Canadians boycotting United States goods, services, and tourism?
I support it 100%.
I think they should take back their electricity and buy all the eggs while they're at it. The U.S. just went and kicked them in the deek for no reason.
We should just stop selling you potash. You'd figure it out by within the year.
I keep telling people the red hat dipshit just how important trade is with Canada, specifically potash. They ignore it, make excuses, or just mock me and say, Canada needs us. I say, F it, stop selling it, make them really see what they voted for.
As an American, I say boycott and use targeted tariffs to put the hurt where you can. I'm with Canada if it's threatened, and it's embarrassing that it happens to be the president or puppet of my country that is doing the threatening.
I needed to read all these comments with support from the USA. I really hate your country right now, and it's killing me.
I'm hating my country right now. As someone with respect for the law and process, it's infuriating at what is being done and how the parts of the government are supposed to act as a stop to this aren't doing anything. I'm looking at the Republican-controlled Congress, who will admit that actions are unconstitutional but just shrug and accept it, or the court that made Trump immune and thus all his cronies can/will be pardoned. However, governments are different than people. I grew up in Los Angeles and knew many Iranians and Iraqis. I hated their governments, but the people were nice and made some amazing food. I'm hoping this country can change its government, but it will take education and time. And personally, I wouldn't trust this current administration. Until then, I'm fine with every country doing what it can to make life here as painful as possible. If you could focus the pain on red states and billionaires, that'd be nice. But really, the country as a whole deserves it. Perhaps you could talk to other countries that have done things like ratify the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Convention on the Right of the Child, and not play nice with the USA until we ratify these basic understandings.
Voting with your cash and your feet is a vital part of liberty. Okay, now how about those 5-year-old 250% import tariffs by Canada on U.S. milk, cheese, and butter? Tariffs function like subsidies and price supports in a lot of ways. One of the U.S. most damaging policies has been the price supports around U.S. sugar production. Bad for everyone except producers and politicians. As Reddit insists on posts that will stimulate discussion. I'm happy. If U.S. produced dairy is as unhealthy as many have asserted, why does Canada allow it to be imported at all?
Totally agree. Vote with your dollars, but also vote.
Canadians can only vote with their cash.
In U.S. elections. That one dude is the Canadian version of Trump, and I hope to fuck he doesn't get elected.
From what I've read, the Canadians are so horrified how Trump has turned America against them. The conservative guy, like Trump, who was practically a shoo-in, may now lose the election.
Don't get complacent. We thought Trump would lose too.
That's capitalism, baby. It's the only language our overlords can speak. Do it.
Michigander here. That was what I said to myself the moment I saw the title of the post. Do it.
Yeah, it'll hurt us in the short run, but MO, that's a good thing people voted for this. Let's see how they like it.
Agree. Also, as an American, I'm sad, furious, and ashamed. Canada has been the best neighbor we could ask for. The threats to sovereignty are sickening. I hope the US and all the other nations currently on a path to authoritarianism can turn the tide. I'm speaking up and taking action to oppose this mess, but it does feel like spitting in the ocean right now.
Concur, Canada and Mexico were just sending firefighters to help us with the LA wildfires a few weeks ago, and it's an embarrassment that this is how our government is acting towards our neighbors, and it does feel like spitting in the ocean.
They have helped us in every single war, even if it wasn't a justified one. The best allies ever. We should pay for their wall.
It's not spitting in the ocean, it's really meaningful. If you find people to connect with and join voices, it's even better. But for me this day, reading that you are doing something, it is meaningful to me. I am tired of reading so many posts where US citizens are upset, but also comfortable enough with their lives to sit this one out completely, even though they are worried for their kids.
fully support. Honestly, I'm also kind of envious that Canada is showing such strong unity. I wish we would show the same unity against Trump and his Make America Great Again cultists.
Yep. I consider Canadian and Mexican people as brothers and sisters. Fuck these spiteful MAGAs and the colon they fell out of. Do what you have to do.
You know the brother who smokes meth and steals grandma's jewelry to pay for it, and then finds Jesus and steals grandpa's coin collection and sells it to give the money to a televangelist, but then also still smokes meth? That's Make America Great Again.
They're standing up to a bully, and I applaud them.
Absolutely, and very much the same here. I'm genuinely nauseated by how the U.S. is treating Canada. They've always been good friends to us, and right now we're being absolutely terrible to them. It's disgusting and shameful.
As a U.S. citizen, I'm actually planning on visiting Canada even more.
I hope the entire world takes the same stance. Our president is being a terrible neighbor.
I'm Canadian. The thought of annexation like some idiot keeps me awake at night. While it seems your thoughts are the average Reddit sentiment, I truly hope that's also the average American thought. Thanks all. This has made me feel a little better.
If you threaten, insult, and put tariffs on their goods, how do you expect them to react? Trump is insane complaining about the trade deal with Canada, a deal which he himself made in 2018, which at the time he claimed was the best trade deal ever. Now he complains that whoever made that deal must have been stupid.
It's even more insane because you mostly import raw materials from us, which you then process and manufacture into advanced goods, which you sell to the rest of the world. That's why there's a trade deficit. Canada can't buy back all the robot arms, etc. you make with our raw steel, for example. That doesn't mean you're losing money in the trade deficit. The robot arms are worth a lot more than the steel you bought from us to make them.
And someone get this man a beer.
As American, how do you feel about your future?
I realize nothing is ever going to get better in my lifetime. Healthcare, education, infrastructure, living wages, not happening. This realization doesn't mean I've given up. I don't have kids, and I support paying for education. I'm in good health and can still say our healthcare system is predatory as fuck. I can have a great job and recognize the income gap is destroying the country. I don't ascribe to my team politics.
My parents had 7 kids. 7 and owned a home. My second child cost me $30,000 in hospital bills.
An explanation on why having a baby costs so much in the US from my own experience. Insurance covers you while you're pregnant. They claim baby is covered up to 30 days after birth. You can't pre-enroll the baby in your insurance plan before they're born. My insurance company didn't cover my baby's cost when she was born. It took 30 days for her to be alive and get insurance coverage. So her hospital stay for a day and a half was $13,000 I had to pay out of pocket for a completely normal birth with no complications. America sucks.
Correct. Mine was not a normal birth. I had a midnight C-section after 30 hours of labor, resulting in a 5-day hospital stay with me begging to leave the whole time. But the baby's heart rate was low.
This is the worst feeling I thought for my entire adult life, that even though the government had corruption and that we had setbacks all the time, that we were on a general path towards progress, justice, awareness, and equality, just to have it all come crashing down spectacularly like this in a few short weeks. It's been the most worldview-shattering experience of my life, and I'm already well on my way towards immigration. Things will never get better here in my lifetime. The culture is poisoned and consumed by greed and self-absorption. Best to just go somewhere else that better aligns with how I want to live my life. My wife and I had been trying for a child before January. Now I don't want to raise a child here anymore. Conservatives can have their oligarchy paradise they call the U.S. with their dismantled public education system. I don't want it anymore. It's not my home anymore.
Learning about what happened in the South during Reconstruction is what eliminated this worldview for me. After the Civil War, Black people were given the right to vote in the South, and there were Black congressmen and senators. Black people enjoyed freedom before Jim Crow and segregation were enacted. Then there wasn't another Black senator until the 1960s. This part of history is rarely taught because it conflicts with the America is always marching towards a more just society narrative. Look at pictures of women in Afghanistan and Iran before religious extremists took over. They went from wearing miniskirts on college campuses to have to be covered and banned from any type of schooling. I am not saying things will be that extreme.
European leaders are having an emergency summit on Monday to determine what to do about Trump. It's that bad. Meanwhile, Trump is meeting with Putin to discuss what to do about Ukraine without Zelensky.
By pulling the shit he is with Canada, under the guide of this 51st state bullshit, he is literally handing us over to Putin too. He has long wanted the entire Arctic. People think it is crazy nonsense, but the Canada and Greenland talk is part of the plan, not Trump's, Putin's. These are long-game geopolitics, and people have been conned into thinking it is a farce. It is not.
Not great, Bob.
I'm tired of getting up every morning and thinking, what the fuck did he say overnight to piss off the world, and then seeing it's worse.
Like an abusive husband, he alienates us further and further away from our allies and friends so he can abuse us harder.
This is so real. I had to spend some time living in a DV shelter with my kids, and I'm still close with some of the other moms I met there. We have all made the comment that the world is experiencing what it's like to have an abusive partner who is willing to go scorched earth to get their way. To be clear, I'm Canadian. I have no control or influence on this entire clusterfuck of a situation, but I'm up here having my nation's sovereignty threatened. The leader of the strongest army in the world is calmly, repeatedly, and intentionally declaring that he will hurt my country and my people until we yield out of self-preservation. If you don't see the parallels to an abusive relationship, you're being deliberately obtuse.
Energized. I refuse to be defeated by this administration.
This is the kind of bravery and tenacity I wish we all had right now, myself included.
It's not over until it's over, and it's far from over. We owe it to our future selves and generations to at least try.
I adore you and will seek to emulate you going forward. Sure beats depression and helplessness.
I love your enthusiasm, and I hope it keeps you going. Don't become the jaded POS I am. I hope you find an entire fucking army of people who think like you do and come out the other side of this shitstorm.
I'm jaded too, but I'm also really mad. How dare these psychopaths think they can get away with all this cruelty and destruction? I'm still here, and so are you. Don't give up the fight.
That's it for today. Are Americans hopeful or worried about their future? And what do they really think about Canada's boycott? Let's continue the conversation in the comments. If you found this video interesting, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.